Programming is brought to you in part by Wendy's, featuring their Morning Melt Panini and their Wendy's Artisan Egg Sandwich. Now offering breakfast at 3 locations in Bowling Green: Fairview, Scottsville Road, and Russellville Road.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and are not those of WKYU-TV, its management, or WKU.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another episode of Topper Talk, here with me. I'm Sean Williams. With
Shane Bearden.
Woody White.
And we got somebody that is missing. But
Again.
You were missing for a while,
I know, there's
Adam.
always somebody missing, it seems like.
But Adam is out with work-related activities, so it'll just be 3 of us tonight. And obviously, before we get the show started, we'd like to, send our thoughts and prayers to all the people dealing with the Boston tragedy up there. So for the next 30 minutes, we're going to try to keep it lighthearted and talk about some WKU sports, because that's pretty much what we do. So
That's all I know.
That's all I know, too. So
Yeah, I don't know much else either.
So we'll get it started with, we got a little bit of transfer news off the gate. News came out over the weekend that Stephon Drain's going to be transferring out of Western. So what are your thoughts about that, gentlemen?
We all kind of talked about that before. I kind of think we all felt like it was coming, that it was going to happen. I mean, he's a good kid. He works hard. He actually showed flashes of what he's capable of this year. But, I think what it came down to for him is, he wants more playing time. And, I can understand where he's coming from with that. So, it frees up an extra scholarship if you look at it that way. And, allows us to try to bring in somebody else that can maybe help us out either in the post or new point guard or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, any kid that's been here for 3 years, you sort of grow attached to as a fan. You get used to watching them, and Drain not being a superstar or nothing, but being a solid role player in his 3 years. He, like you said, he had some big moments for us this year. Come in and get a couple layups and sort of, I forget which game it was in the Sun Belt tournament, but we were struggling for a bit, and he had 2 layups, and that kind of got our scoring going. He played a role for sure, and I'm going to miss him. But like you said, it's another scholarship to come in and improve the talent with, and hopefully, if obviously being playing time related with the transfer, you hope that he's seeing the writing on the wall a little bit with the players that might be coming in. So. Hopefully, we've got some good front court players that are going to be coming in sometime soon, and I guess we'll just have to see how that all goes for sure.
Yeah, you talk about Drain. I mean, played 18 games as a freshman. Of course, he redshirted in 2011, 2012, and then of course he played in all 32 games this year. Had 1 start. Averaged 6 minutes a game, 2 points a game, and 1.2 rebounds a game. So I mean, like I said, he was a role player off the bench, but like you said, he had some sparks there during the year coming off the bench and getting us kind of going, offensively or defensively. So I mean, and you talk about players transferring out, it just seems to be the norm this time of year. After the Final Four and everything like that.
We're up to like 250 so far in college basketball.
I thought it was more than that.
It may be more than that now.
I thought it was like 400 and something.
I know there was 400 something last year.
It's an insane amount. So I mean, it's like you said, with him transferring out, it kind of adds another scholarship to the fold. So of course, last week we were talking about Dominique Hawkins. Of course, he ended up going to UK. Surprise, surprise. Of course we were talking about that. Limited scholarships. Now you have an extra scholarship, and it looks like we're going after a JUCO kid.
Yep.
Ourselves for you talk about interior play earlier, Shane.
Yeah.
And of course, Ray kind of mentioned that today in some reports that they're looking to add to their interior depth. So go ahead and we'll talk about the guy from. Can you pronounce his name? Who can pronounce this guy's name from Iowa Western Community College?
I'm not going to try.
Hands up.
I can say I can try to pronounce it if that works.
Go ahead. I like the way you
well,
pronounce.
I'll just
obscure names.
It's Dauda Samaro. We'll try that.
That's great.
We
I
have
like
one.
that.
That's pretty close.
Roll with that.
But he's a power forward from Iowa Western Community College, 6'9", good size, like 215.
I think 235. I saw that somewhere.
Well, I've seen different.
Yeah, it's 215, 235.
You know how those things are.
Yeah, I mean, you had like 3 inches when they put sneakers on.
Yeah. But he has a 7'2" wingspan. Apparently, from reports I read, he runs open court real well. Likes to get up and down the floor, which I think helps with what Harper actually wants to do.
For sure.
As far as a more fast-paced game. He averaged, as a senior year in high school, he averaged 12 points, almost 8 rebounds, and 4 blocks a game. Was recruited by some of the big boys as far as Texas Tech, Maryland, Washington,
Yeah, I think he
names
ended
like
up
that,
signing
just
with Texas Tech for a little bit. Of course, Texas Tech was coached by Billy Gillespie back then, and
Yep.
well, we know how horrible of a head coach he is. So
Yeah.
things didn't quite work out, and he ended up going to the JUCO route. But
The big
yeah.
thing with him though is he tore his ACL early his freshman year at Iowa Western, and he ended up just redshirting, medical redshirt. And then last year he actually came in for his full freshman season, started the first 12 games, and then he hurt his ACL again, so he was out for the rest of the year. So he's had a little history with ACL injuries, but in this day and age with sports, ACL injuries aren't as bad as what they used to be, and
Yeah, 10
players can recover and come back just as good, if not better, than they were.
10 years ago would be a different story if we were talking about ACL injuries.
Yep.
But, you see a lot of players come back from ACL injuries all the time.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and, you got 2 ACL, injuries and repairs and everything like that. Maybe a slight red flag, but like I said, in this day and age, you see a lot of people come back and recover from that pretty quickly. So, of course, rehab's, a mother, but, lots of players go through it, and they come back and play well. A lot of people also say that once you go through an ACL injury and you rehab it, your knee's stronger than it was before the injury. So, but yeah, you're talking about him playing 12 games last year. He averaged like 12.4 points a game, averaged about 8 rebounds. So, he had his big game was 23 points and 14 boards during his playing time last year. So, a lot of hype was around this kid visiting last week. I think it was like last Thursday. He came to campus and was visiting. So,
He's still, for the second time in his recruitment, he still has decent schools after him. It's right now, from my understanding, it's us, Old Dominion, Villanova's giving him a look, and UTEP, which 2 of those teams are going to be future conference mates in Conference USA. So, hopefully we can snag him away from one of them so we don't have to battle him
That'd be a nice
the next
little
few years.
welcome to the league. We're already taking your recruits.
well, you're taking your recruits Conference USA. What do you think about that? But yeah, another interesting fact is where he played high school at.
I was about to say that.
Our Xavier New American School up in New York, which is the same place where Gold Tinga Cole played.
Oh, goodness.
But I will say this, according to the picture, this guy looks a little more athletic.
He looks like he can
does.
get off the ground.
Looks like he can. Yeah, it looks like his vertical's more than 5 inches.
Yeah.
And looks like you said, Shane, looks like he can get up and down the court pretty good. Looks like a pretty athletic guy.
I'm just waiting for another player in that, Jeremy Evans, El Grace Wilborn kind of mold.
I'm not really sure what his hops
I don't know
are,
if he's going
but-
to have like a dunk contest kind of vertical or nothing. Any kind of guy that can get up and down
Well, he
the
can
floor
get
a
up and
little
dunk.
bit.
He's 6'9" with a
If he can
7'2"
dunk, he's a
wingspan.
keeper in my
he
book.
can dunk.
That's
Yeah.
more than what we've had the past 2 years.
Hey, I don't know. At the end of the year, we actually started finally finishing the basketball.
Rostov figured it out, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, Red kind of said in reports today, people were talking to him today, getting kind of an update and everything. And, he said he wanted to add some depth to the interior of the roster. So, obviously they're probably going after this kid pretty good. And I think he'd be a good addition. You got to think he'll probably be healthy by the time next season starts. So, he'll be a...
I think, if we're going after him as hard as it seems like we are, I would think everything would be all right there and that he'd be ready to go from day one.
Of course, freeing up that scholarship, now it seems like we might have 2 scholarships. I don't know how that works, but apparently it works
Math was
itself out.
never
But
in my book.
Well, Kenny and Yigbo, there's still a chance that he may not return. We're waiting, basketball and football both. He's being held out of both activities, just seeing how, all this stuff plays out as far with, the trouble he got into. But
yeah, right now it's just kind of a wait and see game when it comes to an Evo. Obviously you can't kick a guy off the team whenever the legal process hasn't
Right.
been through yet. So it's kind of a wait and see approach with him. So right now, he's got a scholarship, but we'll wait and see how all of that progresses and shakes out in the court and everything.
And see,
like that.
I got to the point last year where I loved when Kenny came in, just because I loved the toughness that he brought to the interior. Man.
I think we were some of his biggest fans the past couple of games.
I know.
I love watching him play. He was actually one of the few threats that we had that could muscle up and go up and finish on someone. I feel like just over the top of him and tear a goal down. So you never knew what he was going to do for sure.
Yeah, that's
good
kind
at
of
drawing charges too.
Exactly.
he
he
could do like all the little dirty stuff and on the court, like dive after balls, get charges,
You
and
gotta have
everything like
players like
that.
that.
Grab some rebounds. like the enforcer off the hockey team.
Yep.
Just come in there and just fight
sure.
somebody.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when you talk about recruiting, they get caught up in, the superstar kind of players. And obviously you need some big-time players, but those are the kind of guys that turn a good team into a great team in my book, because those glue guys that can come in and fill those roles.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking about an Evo and maybe another possibility of another scholarship, coming up. But I think they're still out there. It seems like Western's still out there, looking for a guard. The new hot, juicy name that's coming out is this Frederick Edmond kid. Of course, he played up in East Lansing, Michigan, and now he plays at what's it called, the prep school. He's playing prep school in
I don't remember.
I don't have the article pulled
Kansas
up
or somewhere. I can't remember.
But
But he's the new hot name that's come up, and of course, before, last week we were sitting here talking about how Western was looking for a guard, and we're talking about Dominique Hawkins and everything like that. Of course, he ended up committing to UK, and now where it is, Brandon Goodwin was another one on our list, to guard out of Norcross, Georgia, and he committed to UCF on Sunday. So now, the hot juicy name's Frederick Edmond. And so what are your thoughts about this kid, looking at his highlight video? Obviously he can score. He scores in bunches, as they say.
Reading some of these quotes, I guess Chad Bishop talked to his coach today, and his coach
I like these
he
quotes
was
by
hyping him
the
up pretty
coach
good.
here.
Yeah, he was saying that he could come in the Sun Belt and be the player of the year in the conference pretty much right now. So obviously your coaches are going to hype your players up.
I think he's like the PR guy too.
Yeah, he
He's
may be a hype man or something like that. But he says he averaged 34 a game for him this past year, 6'4", and a 42-inch vertical. And that as a freshman, he would be the player of the year in the Sun Belt. There's no doubt. So, obviously you're going to get talked up a little bit. But any kid that can come in and average 34 a game for any kind of prep school, got to be a pretty good talent, I would think.
Your coach said that about you when you were coming
Oh,
to high school,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, Coach Todd, I was throwing in all kinds of points for him back in the day.
Hey, tell me about this white kid, Coach. Got a massive vertical.
Lipscomb University did call him about me one time.
Really?
My one shining basketball moment. I
Yeah.
went to a camp down there. So
They talked to you
I got that on
personally,
my
or they
back.
talked to the coach?
They talked to coach.
And then it just went away.
I was just a freshman, and then I never improved. I was terrible.
They just called and said, "Yeah, I noticed this guy on the roster is like 6'9". Tell me about him."
I was really just 6'4", weighed about 142 pounds. That's pretty much me back then.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
No, but yeah,
I got you sidetracked there, Woody, man. I'm
That's what
sorry.
Yeah, he's at the prep school in Iowa. He's also an Iowa kid. I guess everybody's coming from
Well,
Iowa.
he's actually from Michigan.
From Michigan.
Yeah.
So we're maybe starting a little Michigan pipeline too with
Yeah.
him and Chris Harrison Docks.
He was up there at East Lansing, played at, I think it's Eastern Lansing High School or whatever, and then he, of course, plays at prep school at
Right.
Kingdom Academy.
Yeah, he's got schools that, according to his coach in Chad's interview with him today, he's got schools like Kansas State and Auburn and Oregon State looking at him. So K-State obviously is a pretty good school. They've had some success the last couple of years. So
Oregon was top 25 team this last year too. Mm-hmm. Oh, you said Oregon State.
here.
Man,
But
the Beavs.
Michelle
they're-
Obama's brother.
There's something else.
I don't know. Did they fire him?
They may have. I don't keep
Can
up
you
with
fire
Oregon
the?
State. Ooh, what would happen?
you fire the president's brother-in-law? That's a good question.
But yeah, he seems like he'd be a pretty good talent. So hopefully we can get him on campus sometime. I don't guess he's visited yet, and I'm sure we've heard about that. So
Yeah, he's kind of a guy. I know he's just kind of he's just kind of popped up. Like today, obviously on Twitter. But Western's kind of had his eye on him for a while. I don't think he's been down here for an official visit or anything like that. But Western, like I said, they're looking for guards.
And post players.
So you
can always improve the talent.
That's the
for
market
sure.
we're in. That's the market Ray Harper's in right now. Guards and post players. So, I'm sure we might hear another name pop up tomorrow, and
Oh, they'll keep popping up, I'm sure.
yeah, until signing day.
We did
so.
have Brandon Goodwin, who we were also after, along with Hawkins. Goodwin actually committed to Central Florida.
Yeah.
The other day, so
He did that Sunday, so
I think that honestly that might be. This is just me spitballing here, but
spitball
us
away, man.
us going after Hawkins a little more might have affected us being able to get Goodwin, because I think we were pretty close to getting Goodwin, and then I think we kind of backed off a little bit, seeing what Hawkins might do. But that that might just be.
Recruiting is such a tricky operation, man. You never can tell what these kids are going to do.
That's true.
I've been keeping up with it for several years, and it's just, you think you know one thing, and then something else happens, and obviously with UK being who they are in the recruiting world right now, if somebody's going to give them a look, it's not much. As much as I love Western, there's not much we can do to compete with UK's recruiting talents right now.
Well, and both of those kids, when they signed with their schools, they both said something about WKU when they signed. Like even Goodwin, on Twitter, he even said something about Hilltoppers coming on strong and all that kind of stuff. So, it's...
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show we're doing a good job. It's like you said, Woody. I mean, and a lot of people kind of got upset that Hawkins actually picked UK, even though any real fan could see it coming from a mile away. But I mean, Hawkins said that UK was his dream school, and your dream school comes.
He grew
in
up close to Lexington, and
so.
like we said the other day, I want kids that want to be Hilltoppers.
For sure.
If he doesn't want to be here, then that's fine. Let him go be where he
Yeah.
wants to be. I want somebody that wants to be on campus and be a Hilltopper. But
Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to see people diss kids on Twitter and things like
Yeah.
that. That's a little over the top, and I mean, like you said, let them sign where they want to go play ball and let them be.
But I think I know people should have. I don't know. This is kind of questioned a lot about Ray and his recruiting so far. If you get out on their message boards and stuff, but I mean, I think Ray's going to. I'm not going to talk about it this week.
Board rumors?
But no, not rumors. But
rumors.
Personally, and what I've seen with Ray coaching and the guys that he's brought in, I'm comfortable with him getting the guys that we need. I think he knows what's going to fit his system best, and that whoever he get is actually going to get good coaching once they get here too. I think that's something that we haven't had in the past several years. So
I mean, you talk about that. You bring up a good point. I mean, you talk about the Trichy Jackson kid that came in from Texas Tech. Another Texas Tech defector. Seems to happen a lot when Billy Gillespie was there. But he come in and you see him being ruled academically ineligible and getting suspended from Texas Tech, and everybody's kind of like, I mean, myself included, I'm like, well, why are we taking a chance on this guy? And then you kind of see a report on CBS come out that how just much of a bad management it was at Texas Tech and everything like that, and he just got mismanaged. And turns out he's a really good kid, got a good head on his shoulder, and Ray has a lot of faith in him, believes in him. So I mean, you see things like that, and kind of on the surface, and you kind of start to question it. But then once you kind of get the real facts and everything, you turn out he's a really good kid. And Ray,
I mean, Ray said today that anytime Trichy steps on the floor, he's going to be the most athletic player on the floor.
Yeah. So
I'm excited about that. We talk about recruiting a lot, but as I've said the past couple of weeks, I think we've got some guys who are on the team and on the end of the bench this year that are going to be pretty key parts of the team next year. I mean, you look at Trency, you look at Chris Harrison-Docks, Nigel Snipes, who probably would have been starting this year.
Yeah.
And even
I'm excited about Nigel.
I really am
too.
Nigel, I think, was my favorite player in that recruiting class with George and TJ and all those other guys. So if Nigel can live up to my expectations.
I think a lot of people said that he was going to be a starter this year, before he got injured. So, I mean, that'd be exciting.
I think even Harper pretty much alluded to the fact that he thought Nigel was going to be a starter on the team this year before he got hurt.
Yeah.
So I mean that's, I think him coming back is going to be big. And then you factor in that we've been so young the last couple of years, and now we're going to start having more upperclassmen with George and TJ being juniors. I think
we're going to be such a deep team.
Yeah, we're going to be good.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm calling it now. We're going to be good.
We're going to be good.
I think you called that like a long time ago.
Yeah, well.
It's all right. You can keep calling it every week. So
We're just going to keep telling y'all.
We got a long summer. I'm just going to keep saying it every week.
just keep repeating the effort.
6 months till Hilltopper Hysteria. I'm going to go ahead and start the hype machine rolling.
But yeah, it's important to point out the players that are already on the team too, because I mean, obviously they're a big factor. But of course, it's after the season, so we got to talk about.
There's not much,
recruiting and
for sure.
So, just the way it is in the sporting talk world. So, and speaking of that, I guess we'll transfer to spring football.
Let's hear about some football.
You guys know anything about football? I don't know anything about football.
I mean, I've gone to the last couple scrimmages.
I saw Brandon Dowdy at the baseball game Friday.
Yeah.
That's all I
You
got.
tell us at the first pitch.
Nah.
Was it accurate?
He was trying to diss the other team a little bit from the bleachers, and they started hitting some home runs like it wasn't nothing, so everybody kind of got quiet.
So he probably shouldn't smack talk.
Probably not that game.
Okay. Yeah. You should just concentrate on throwing the ball.
That's right.
Well, speaking of Brandon Dowdy, he is obviously, and Petrino kind of alluded to it too during the week, is he's kind of asserted himself as the starter right now, as of spring, and did a good job of, once again, they had a full scrimmage on Saturday, did a tremendous job once again. I mean, he went,
he looked good in the scrimmage.
Yeah, 28 of 39 for 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, had 1 interception.
Good deal.
I mean, really accurate. And like I said, Daddy's been here for 3 years, 4 years maybe, and
For a while.
yeah, because he got injured, but he's been here. I think he's soaked in the playbook, and he just knows the playbook really well, and he's comfortable out there in the huddle and calling plays and everything like that. So he had a good full scrimmage Saturday. So he's still your number 1 quarterback, and I'm sure they're not really going to name a quarterback a number 1 starter until the fall starts and probably before the season. But right now he's your go-to guy, and you got DeMarcus Smith out there. DeMarcus, I always say
he's up and down.
He's been struggling, but he looked really good Saturday, especially early. Wasn't the most accurate. Went like 16 for 33 on the day. Had over 300 yards. He threw some bombs and completed those. But one of the factors about DeMarcus is, when he's in a tough situation, he can scramble out of it.
Yep.
That's his factor.
That's the biggest. That's the thing that separates him from both Dowdy and Morrow is the fact that DeMarcus has the legs to get out and run with it if he needs to. And no offense to Brandon or James, but they're not exactly built for escaping out of the pocket.
James had a nice QB scramble the other Saturday. He lowered the shoulder and lowered some boom.
Yeah.
You gotta give him.
I'll give him
I
that
took
one.
note of that. I'm like, hey, Daddy, or, James.
But he
Morrow,
still only
pretty
picked up
good.
like 3 yards on the play.
Nimble feet.
I got a soft spot in my heart for him since he's pretty much my size playing football. I think that's cool.
Well, he did really good too. I think he went 17 for 27. Not sure what the yardage was. I didn't keep up with that, but
So we're getting up a lot of passes. Is that
we're
what you're
getting
saying?
up a lot of 100 over 2 hours of work Saturday and 194 offensive plays. So
Nice.
it was a Bobby Petrino type day on at Houchins LT Smith Stadium. But like I said, right now, Dowdy's still going to be your clear-cut starter if the season were to start today.
I think next to the quarterback situation, one thing that I've been looking for is the defensive line, because I know we pretty much lost everybody off our
Yeah.
defensive line last year.
I think our defensive line would be pretty good.
I think they're going to be all right. They showed some glimpses Saturday of getting back in the backfield and putting some pressure on the quarterback and batting down a couple balls. And
Yeah, one thing you look about the defense is, Calvin Washington's going to be. I think he's going to be a beast.
Yep.
On the line.
we got some size.
Brian
in the
Shorter
middle,
is
too.
looking really good during the spring, and you look at Barry Boyd. They're using Barry Boyd as kind of a linebacker / defensive end type guy. He's kind of before the snap he'll sneak up there and he'll blitz, and he caused a lot of havoc Saturday during the scrimmage. Got a couple batted balls and got a couple of QB sacks too. He had a really good scrimmage Saturday. So the defense looks. Defensive line. While there's question marks there because we lost so many people, I think it'll definitely come around. We got depth there too. We got some JUCO players coming in and looking really good. Even Nick Holt made mention of Raphael Cox, the guy from Trinity, Texas. From Trinity Community College in Texas. He said he's having a really good spring and looking really good out there. So
We had a couple of the JUCO defensive backs are looking pretty good, making plays on the ball, and
yeah, Dalton Patterson is one.
Patterson was
He
looking
looks really good out there, and there's a lot of good key ingredients out there. The defense. I don't think the defense is going to be our issue.
No,
I think
I
it's going to be
don't
the new offense. Of course, the defensive unit kind of learning a new scheme too. So. But I think they're getting better at it. It's just going to be one of those processes. Anytime you come into a new spring with a new coaching staff, new systems and everything like that, it's going to take some time to get adjusted to it.
I'm a defensive guy. I love defenses, and I love hard-hitting defenses. So, being out there watching our guys practice and just laying the boom on people, their own teammates, they don't even care.
Well, Andrew
I love
Jackson's
it.
been doing a good job of that this spring.
Yeah, I noticed.
I just want to know if Dowling is getting any better.
Dowling actually
At
is getting
nine,
better.
yeah.
That's my big concern.
Dowling, you can't question the guy's talent at all.
Oh, absolutely not.
But, he does have last year he had a tendency to try to lower his shoulder and go for the big hit.
The swing and the
then
miss on that long
Yeah.
touchdown in the bowl game
Yeah.
will be forever just burned in my mind.
Instead of just wrapping up and
Yeah.
trying to tackle like any normal human being would do. But, safeties, man, they're back there. They want to make a big
They gotta
play,
do the
get on
thing,
Sports
yeah.
Center top 10, man,
For sure.
At one of the scrimmages, I don't remember if it was this past week or the week before, but Cam Thomas made an interception and returned it for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And he was a good 20 yards in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And before he got to the end zone, which was only like 30 yards out from the end zone, but before he got there, Dowling had already caught up to him.
Yeah.
And they were in the end zone celebrating
You
together.
can't question Dowling's closing
He's-
speed at all.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, he's getting better at tackling, and defensive coordinator Nick Holt kind of made mention of that too. He's looking really good, and you could tell out there, just from my bird's eye view, being on the sidelines. He's getting better at tackling. He's not whiffing a lot. He's actually trying to tackle,
Good
which
deal.
is very important.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're talking about the defense hitting people. Andrew Jackson, he's laid a good hit on Tim Gorski, and kind of made him a little woozy and made him fumble the ball, and. Andrew Jackson, he's back with a vengeance, had like 15 tackles during the scrimmage Saturday. So
I saw somebody rated him as the #1 inside linebacker in all of college football this coming season.
Yep.
That's huge.
yeah.
Todd
so-
McShay, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Big Pimpin', Todd
Yeah.
McShay.
It's gonna be a fun year to watch football. I can't wait for football to get started.
Yeah, and I mean, another fact as far as our tight ends. Our tight ends are going to be solid.
Yeah.
Tyler Higbee had another great scrimmage. I mean, I can't say enough about him. He's looking really good this spring. Him and Mitchell Henry are going to be a great tight end combo. And, I mean, you talk about the running game, too. We got Andrews, Leon Allen, Keyshawn Simpson. That's going to be our three-headed monster this year. I mean, they combined for almost 300 yards rushing. And, I mean, Antonio Andrews broke off a nice 63-yard touchdown run, and he broke off another 35-yarder. So, I mean, he's, it's coming along. This offense is going to be, everybody thinks, Petrino's going to throw the ball a lot. He's going to run the ball a lot, too. He's going to utilize the tight end. So, it's just going to be a little bit better formation.
Petrino knows he's
spread
got
out.
the weapon he has in the backfield with
Oh, yeah.
Andrews, too. I
Yeah.
mean, he's gonna utilize that. He's not just going to throw all the time and hang Andrews out to dry because he knows how talented Antonio is.
Yeah.
So
we got 2 more practices left, Wednesday and Thursday, and then we got the spring game on Saturday at
everybody
2
come out to the
o'clock.
spring game.
So
I
here's
finally
the
get to be there. I'm excited.
Here's the thing about the spring game, guys. How many people do you think's going to be there?
Well, we need to have more than 4,800 because South Florida,
Nope, 4606.
4606. Okay.
You read my mind, man.
Because South Florida, where Willie Taggart went, only had 4,600 for their spring game, and Western had 3,500 last year.
Yeah, but
so,
let's counter that with this. Kentucky spring game, 50,000, over 50,000 for a
Blew my
Kentucky
mind.
spring game.
That's huge for them.
yeah, that's
They only had
crazy.
2 wins last year.
A little
So
excitement up the road. in
obviously
Lexington.
the house doesn't hold 50,000 people.
Let's
but-
get 70K down at LP Field when
Oh, for sure.
when Western and UK open
I know.
season. That'd be nice.
I know Dalton Patterson, the JUCO defensive back. He tweeted out tried to get 15,000 to the stadium, which honestly I don't think that's going to be possible. It's just we're kind of. I think a lot of fans are just kind of fair weather when it comes to football,
Yeah.
and but
But I'd like to see close to 5K there.
So you
and I
think-
think that's doable.
You think 5K?
Yeah.
What about you, Woody?
I think anywhere in that 5 to 6, 7 range, I'll be happy with that. I mean, I'd love to see a 10 or 15K kind of attendance, but
I think
realistically,
I think a lot of it's going to have to do with the weather too.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it looks like it's going to be about 60 and
I just
sunny.
checked. It looks
so
like low 60s. Yeah.
You checking over there, weatherman?
I'm on top of it. I know how Western fans are about weather and football.
So yeah, you know, like you mentioned earlier, Shane, our former head coach Willie Taggart, they had 4606 there for the South Florida spring games.
We
Let's
gotta
at
beat
least
that.
try to
We
beat
gotta
that.
beat
I
that.
mean, come on.
Yeah.
Who has it better than us?
Not South Florida.
Not South Florida.
I get a little baseball talk in real quick.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
kicked off. All right,
we got like 30 seconds.
I got this. we took the series against Troy this weekend at home, 2-1. They beat us on Friday. We came back and won the second 2 on Saturday and Sunday.
That was a good bounce back
Walk-off
from
home
the
run.
Walk-off
Sunday.
home run from Blake Crabtree in the 10th inning.
That was a good bounce back series win from the big Louisville win.
For sure, yeah.
Tuesday,
That was
so.
a series. Troy is right in that mix, the top of the Sun Belt. We had to get that one.
Shout out for the Ryan Huck stash.
Ryan Hookstash is intimidating, and I'm jealous of it, but it's awesome.
Oh yeah, so he's gonna grow that all year long.
I hope so.
That'd be awesome.
Baseball team,
Curly.
they get Lipscomb tomorrow in Nashville, and then they go to South Alabama, who is one of the teams that we're tied for first place with. So, pretty big series this weekend. Whoever can come out of that one's going to be sitting in pretty good shape as far as top 2 or 3 seeds going to go. Softball team is killing it as well. They're in second place in the Sun Belt, 34th in the RPI in the country. So things are looking real well for them. So the Diamond Tops are getting it done. It's nice to see. I mean, the weather's turning around. Everybody needs to get out to the Nick and watch these teams. I sat up there Friday night and
And the Sun Belt, as we were talking,
Yeah.
is number 4 in the nation in conference RPI right now. So the Sun Belt's a great baseball league. So
It really is.
I encourage everybody to get out to the Nick and watch it.
Rocking it out. All right, so remember, softball tops tomorrow evening, and we got the spring game on Saturday. So you guys get out there and support the Hilltoppers. We are out.
go
Go
Tops.
Tops.
Programming is brought to you in part by Wendy's, featuring their Morning Melt Panini and their Wendy's Artisan Egg Sandwich. Now offering breakfast at 3 locations in Bowling Green: Fairview, Scottsville Road, and Russellville Road.